Ladies and gentlemen, this regular board meeting of the Carrollton-Farmers Branch ISD is called to order at 7:05 p.m. on November 6, 2014. Thank you all for being here. We're honored to have you. At this time, would you please stand and join me as Richard Fleming leads our opening prayer, and remain standing for the as Nancy Watton leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the U.S. and the Texas flag.
Bow your heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, accept our thanks for this day and all of its blessings. We ask that you continue to guide our school district, its leaders, and our actions. Give us the inspiration to meet the future needs. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Please be seated. As a district, we dedicate all of our effort and resources to our goal of high achievement for all students. And the board uses this goal to guide us in all of our deliberations, decisions, and actions. And you will get to see all of our deliberations, decisions, and actions of the board in open session, with the exception of some items which may be discussed in closed session as stipulated by the Texas Government Code Section 551, commonly known as the Open Meeting Law. And these items typically deal with personnel matters, consultation with attorney, and real estate. For the record, all board members are here with the exception of Mr. Shore, who will be attending later. However, we do constitute a quorum and can conduct business on behalf of the school district. Another matter, as required by our board policy BBD local, at each meeting of the board, the president will announce, and the minutes shall reflect, the name of each board member who has completed required training, who has exceeded the required hours of training, or who is deficient in required training as of the date of the meeting before any vote of the board is taken. Let the minutes reflect at this time that all members of the Carrollton-Farmers Branch ISD Board of Trustees are scheduled to complete or exceed the annual requirement for school board member continuing education for 2014. With that being said, we will now go to agenda item 2, which is recognition of special guests and announcements. Dr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Good, and members of the board. To our audience, welcome. Thank you for being here tonight. We know that time is a valuable resource, and you choosing to spend some of your time with us is most appreciated. So thank you for being here. We will not disappoint you, because the first thing we're going to do is introduce you to our VIPs. And I'm going to start with a quote that kind of captures why VIPs are so important to us. And it goes like this: thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude. Gratitude is the completion of thankfulness. Thankfulness may consist merely of words. Gratitude is shown in acts. Our VIP recognition ceremony is our act of gratitude to our outstanding teachers and staff who go above and beyond every day to help us reach our goal of high achievement for all students. And so there are friends and families here tonight, to support your VIP. Would you please stand when your VIP is introduced? And now at this time, Mr. Good, will you join me in front to show our gratitude? Very good.
Good evening, Mr. Good, Dr. Burns, and members of the school board. I'm Robin Callahan, the proud principal of Freeman Elementary. What a joy it is to join you tonight in recognition of Freeman's newest VIP. I'm here along with the members of our Tiger family to recognize Miss Lisa Anderson as a member of the very important profession of teaching. 9 years ago, Lisa chose Freeman Elementary and CFB ISD as her new teaching home. Since joining, she has proven herself as a contributing member of the 5th grade team. From the beginning, she is known as a passionate, motivated, and dedicated leader at Freeman. She faces new initiatives, challenges, and changes with a growth mindset that allows her to lead her team and others around her with positivity and grace. Everyone who has had experience working with 5th graders understands just how necessary true mental toughness is just for everyday survival. Paul Tough argues in his book, How Children Succeed, that the qualities that matter most have more to do with character. Skills like grit, curiosity, optimism, self-control, and zest. Every day, Lisa models for her students and colleagues that these traits for success. Members of the Freeman family shared thoughts and comments that truly capture Lisa's heart and inspiring character. One staff member said, "She embraces each unique child in her class with the same high expectations for success, not just in academic gains, but in social development to be a lifelong learner. She provides the individual support needed for each child to reach their own goals." Another staff member said, "For me, Lisa is the go-to person when you need help, advice, or someone to lift your spirits." Lisa provides for her students a welcoming learning environment where students feel safe to share and learn together. Lisa pours her heart into her profession. In addition to being an incredible soccer mom to an energetic teenage boy, Lisa always finds time to prepare engaging lessons, set up experiments, plan projects, and help organize her teammates. She puts her whole heart into an enormous responsibility of teaching and leading by example. Outside her classroom, her bulletin board reads, "Lights, camera, action." And inside her classroom, it's just that. A magical experience of blended learning through technology, hands-on learning, student conversations, and transferring science content into real-life action. At the beginning of this school year, each staff member at Freeman wrote, "Why I love what I do," to hang in our main hallway. Lisa defines her love for teaching by saying, "It's important to me that students see themselves in a positive light. They realize just how capable they are of being successful. My goal every day is to inspire students to reach new heights. Being a part of that journey is a true joy." It is with honor and my pleasure to recognize this inspiring teacher, Ms. Lisa Anderson, as a member of the very important profession of teaching.
Oh, we have to. Good evening. I'm Penny Coney, principal of R.E. Good International Baccalaureate World School. We are here tonight to recognize Ellery Lehman as a member of the very important profession of teaching. You probably wouldn't guess it by looking at this poised and pretty young woman, but a fierce competitor lies within. And she's chosen to take on quite the challenger, herself. Every day, Ellery challenges herself to be even better. I've seen this trait in her since her first year as a kindergarten teacher. Ellery showed all the enthusiasm and never-ending patience that a kinder teacher needs each and every day. She ended the year with successful kindergartners that were well prepared for first grade. The next year, we had one of those enrollment fluctuations, and one of our kinder teachers needed to move to second grade. I'm usually hesitant to move a new teacher, but I had no doubt that Ellery was up to the challenge of a new assignment. She willingly packed up everything in her impeccably organized and creative kinder classroom and moved to second grade. And wouldn't you know it, the next year we needed a third grade teacher. And once again, Ellery got the nod.
I think it was at this point that she began to wonder if she was just going to stay on a continual loop with her first class of kindergartners through 5th grade. I can say without a doubt that they, and especially their parents, would have loved that, but Ellery has now put down some firm roots in 3rd grade math and science. No matter what the grade, Ellery is so attuned to the needs of each of her students and is relentless in her determination that they will succeed. This is the ultimate challenge and responsibility that she gives herself. She seeks out professional development opportunities on her own and is the first one to volunteer when we need a representative from our school to attend a workshop, to be a CFB ambassador, to serve on the rounds team, write curriculum, or just about anything else that gives her the chance to learn with others. As an IB school, good teachers are expected to attend numerous IB workshops and trainings, much of it on their own time. Ellery wanted to attend a summer workshop even before she got hired in her first year of teaching, and still eagerly jumps at the chance to attend trainings and bring back what she's learned to the rest of the staff. In her pursuit of always getting even better, Ellery has been a math coachee since the first year of the coaching model, and she is an outstanding coachee, always receptive to feedback and willing to try new strategies and techniques that will contribute to student success. Her classroom has become a model classroom not only for our staff, but from visitors from other schools. But no picture of Ellery would be complete without mentioning what a really special human being she is. A friend to everyone on staff, a teacher who is always her kids' most enthusiastic cheerleader, a proud member of the CFB team, and selfishly a principal's dream. As someone who's closer to the end of the career, but not yet, than the beginning, I feel especially encouraged that the future of our profession when I see a wonderful young teacher like Ellery, who clearly loves what she does and does it so well. So we are so proud of you, Ellery, and we are very happy that you're now a member of the very important profession of teaching.
Mr. Good, members of the board, Dr. Burns, and colleagues, my name is Joe Copeland, and I have the pleasure of serving as the principal of Daniff Long Middle School. It is with my great pleasure to introduce to you our newest member to the very important profession of teaching, Mr. Richard Lewis. Mr. Lewis is our technology specialist. We call it an ITS. It's a great job. A member of our leadership team, he's a webmaster and Algebra 1 coordinator. He is the man with the plan. Richard is in the middle of his second year of Daniff Long, and he always goes the extra mile. He is all about that student or teacher who needs help using and understanding that technology is a tool that helps build competency. He makes setting up a 21st century classroom look oh so easy. When our leadership team was looking and thinking of staff members to nominate, we were pleased when we realized that Richard was our leading candidate. All of the great qualities that Richard has resonated within our staff, within myself, and parents who support everything he does with all of their children. We knew we had the right person. Mr. Lewis is the consummate example of a team player. All you need to do is ask, and he comes running through cyberspace to aid any of his teammates. He continues to create more opportunities for our teachers and students to use technology to enhance competency across our curriculum. He also teaches 6th graders. 6th graders always ask, why programming? Why programming? Mr. Lewis' response is always, engineering is cool. At Long, we believe in the power of a can-do-it attitude, and Mr. Lewis is the embodiment of those qualities. Richard's commitment to excellence is unmatched, and his desire to go above and beyond is truly inspiring. He is leading the work to Googleize, Gaggleize, and modal us into achievement. Richard always has a wonderful opportunity and a smile on his face to help children because we all know they're screenagers. He embraces the screenager. Richard always looks at students with that positive big smile, and he's ready to say, you can complete the task. What we know is that teacher behavior drives student behavior, and his students mirror his big personality and his cool techno swag. That is very evident as he eases from classrooms to computer labs. On any given day, his students could be engaged in critical thinking, cutting-edge electronic surveys, student presentations, or simply acting out sixth grade screenager enthusiasm. One student says, Mr. Lewis always gives us cool assignments using the computers during class. You know, all that computer stuff we don't get to do at the house. Another says, Mr. Lewis is strict. I can't stand his class, but he makes us work so hard, and I know eventually, he always says, that I'm going to get a good job one day. One of his colleagues wrote, he is the Swiss Army knife of teachers. He can do anything in record time, and instead of Googling it, I just asked Richard. Another Long teacher wrote, Richard is the very definition of school spirit. He is always positive, has a smile on his face, even at the most stressful times, math, grades, etc., etc., etc. He is the first to offer a helping hand when anyone is in need. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us show our appreciation for Dan F. Long's newest member to the VIP, very important profession of teaching, Mr. Richard Lewis.
Good evening. I'm Bridget O'Connor, principal of Charlie McCamey Elementary School, and it is my pleasure to introduce our VIP, Marcella Villarreal. Marcella grew up and attended university at Universidad Imbero and Marcano in Mexico City, graduating with a degree in graphic design. She worked as a graphic artist in Mexico City for a few years before moving to Dallas. Once in Texas, she began working as a substitute teacher, which led her to the conclusion that teaching was her true calling. A few years ago, we were looking for a bilingual teacher for our third grade, and I was interviewing with a group of principals. At the end of the day, I knew that there were going to be two other principals recommending Marcella. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm really competitive, and especially when it comes to finding the best teacher. And as you can see, I won this battle. This is Marcella's third year serving bilingual teachers at McCamey, and in that short time, she has made quite an impact on our campus. Her team and the entire staff recognize her as a kind and caring teacher that goes out of her way to help her students learn and grow. Ms. Villarreal celebrates each child, always remembering that each one is unique and special. Marcella is also a wonderful co-worker. Her peers note that she's truly a team player. She's willing to help with any task and does it with a smile. She also doesn't back down from a challenge. This year, I needed a bilingual teacher to teach language arts to my third grade bilingual students and my fifth grade bilingual students. I asked Marcella. She didn't even hesitate before accepting with a smile, and she's done an outstanding job for both grade levels, which is just going to cause me a problem because now I have two grade levels who are going to fight over at the end of the year who gets her next year. Her students report that Ms. Villarreal is pretty and understanding. She helps us when we're having a hard time, and she's always a good teacher, no matter if we're doing English or Spanish. Now, pardon my attempt at this last sentence. I'm going to try it in Espanol. Marcela, tenemos mucha suerte que seas parte de nuestra familia.
We have one more recognition tonight. You're here talking about schools can't do it alone. We need the whole community. We need lots of organization, lots of partnership to help us do that. So we're proud to recognize tonight a special partnership. And I'm gonna, Ms. Nancy Klein's gonna read a little bit about that partnership. We're gonna ask them to come up.
Tonight, on behalf of Carrollton-Farmers Branch Independent School District Board of Trustees, it is our honor to recognize the American Association of University Women. They are being recognized for their involvement in our partnership and education program. We are fortunate to have a relationship with AAUW. Their constant outreach is an example of what is possible when a public school and a community of caring individuals work together to be partners in the education and welfare of our students. November 1st marked the 25th anniversary of the Reach for the Stars Conference for CFB ISD 7th and 8th grade girls. This event is a community-wide collaboration among CFB ISD, the Farmers Branch Carrollton branch of AAUW, many community professionals, community businesses, and Brookhaven College. 25 years ago, AAUW's research indicated that unless middle school girls were encouraged to remain open to math and science courses, there was a risk for continued underrepresentation by women in STEM courses and professions. This research led the local branch of AAUW to launch this Reach for the Stars event. Since that time, while women have made important strides in math and science academics and careers, the need for STEM professions has increased. More recent research indicates that teen girls remain more open to math and science courses if they can understand the application of these courses and connect with caring professionals who demonstrate how they use these skills outside of a classroom. Each fall, this Reach for the Stars conference offered over 200 7th and 8th grade girls opportunities to explore career options that employ math and science guided by professional women in a variety of STEM fields. Since inception, over 5,000 girls have met women veterinarians, engineers of all types, chemists, pilots, nurses, geologists, and app writers, a new career field, through personal hands-on workshops. Girls have experienced making ice cream, lotions, x-rays, and more at this annual conference. The CFB ISD middle school counselors encouraged girls to get out of their comfort zone early Saturday morning and coordinated enrollment throughout the years. Brookhaven College provided facilities, materials, resources, and personnel to host the event each year. The volunteers of AAUW organized this annual event. They secured funding, procured the speakers, arranged the keynote, provided gifts for the attendees, and were available to direct students to the workshops and host the presenters. Following this year, the project will be led by Brookhaven College's STEM initiative with AAUW volunteers supporting the project, I would say, as always. On behalf of the Carrollton-Farmers Branch Independent School District Board of Trustees, with James Good, President, and Dr. Bobby Burns, Superintendent, presenting, it is our privilege to present this plaque to AAUW. Your family truly exemplifies a meaningful partnership between our community and our schools. Accepting this plaque is Ms. Delrin Fleming, President of AAUW. Thank y'all.
Mr. Good, that does conclude our recognitions for this evening.
Okay, thank you. It is always an enjoyable time, especially for me, and I'm confident for all of our board members, to learn about the unique personalities, qualities, characteristics of our educators in our school district. I think many times we look at educators and we try to put a single mold in place and say, all educators fit this mold. But what we learn is how unique everyone is, and the gifts that they bring to the school district and to their students. And it's such a pleasure to be able to say thank you to you in whatever capacity, at elementary, middle school, and many times our high schools, that we can say thank you to you because you bring such diverse qualities and you share those with all of our students. And as a parent, we don't always see that. But I am truly honored to say thank you to every one of you. And if I may piggyback on one thing that one person said, the future is truly bright for CFB ISD, and we are so thankful that the future is exemplified in every educator that we have. And to AAUW, you also are one of those ardent supporters of our educators to help them to become the very best that they can be in the classroom. And we're so thankful to you to be able, working through Brookhaven, to make an impact on our educators, which is then exhibited in all of our students. So thank you all for being here. With that being said, we are going to take a short break because I am confident you do not want to spend the rest of the evening with us. So at this time, we will take a 10-minute break, and I believe, if I can read that, it says 7:30. 7:40 p.m. Before we move on to the next agenda item, I'd like to remind you that Audience for Guests is on the agenda that will be coming up shortly. Audience for Guests is a mechanism that we use to obtain information from our community. And if you would like to speak to the board, you will be given 3 minutes to speak to the board and be able to present to us any items of information you would like to convey. If you would like to speak to the board, please fill out the form that's outside the double doors as you walked in and give that form to Ms. Scribner. With that being said, we are now going on to agenda item 3A, report by the superintendent, presentation on student achievement, district and campus improvement plans. And let the record reflect that we have our final board member, so we are a board of 7 at this time. Thank you very much.
Mr. Good, members of the board, as you know, annually, as part of the requirement from the state, we do a district improvement plan as well as campus improvement plans that are aligned to that as part of a requirement. Although it is a compliance thing, we try to bring quality to it. We try to bring reasonableness to it. We know our campuses are already doing a whole lot, so we try to use this as a guide to guide the work. They all know what the goal is at the end, and that's the achievement of our students. But so tonight we are, it's a part of our compliance, but also a part of our trying to continually get even better. We are going to present to you our district improvement plan, and I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Warnock for that.
Thank you, Dr. Burns. It is my pleasure to introduce to the board and to our audience Mr. Zach Bunn, who is the chairperson of our District Improvement Council from R.L. Turner High School. So, Mr. Bunn, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Warnock. Good evening, Mr. Good, Mr. Burns. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Burns. Members of the board, I'm Zach Bunn. I'm the chairman for the District Improvement Council and science teacher at R.L. Turner High School. I will be giving you the introduction this evening to the district plan. If I were given 1 hour to save the planet, I would spend 59 minutes defining the problem and 1 minute resolving it. We believe that the key to success is careful planning and execution of the plan. Our district administration and district improvement council, along with campus personnel, plan carefully in order to increase student achievement. The district has one goal, and every CFB team member from staff to students knows the goal: high achievement for all students. The singular focus allows us to align our professional development, resources, and efforts towards the goal. We believe in a relentless pursuit of one goal. Each of the guiding objectives leads to that goal. There are 4 guiding objectives that support the one goal, with major strategies and targets that the district sets each year to ensure we are making progress towards the goal. One change that has been made to the current district plan is to extend our thinking out to 3 years, rather than 1 at a time. This long-range planning lets us make incremental and purposeful change in support of our goal. The goal of Carrollton-Farmers Branch ISD is, as always, high achievement for all students. To achieve this goal, 4 guiding objectives have been identified. Continuously improve instructional practice, continuously improve the learning environment, continuously improve operational effectiveness, and continuously improve community support. The District Improvement Council, commonly referred to as the DIC, is mandated by state laws and is charged with providing advice to the superintendent regarding the planning, operation, supervision, and evaluation of the district educational program. Members of the DIC represent various stakeholder groups of the district. These include parents, teachers, community, and administrators. Each campus elects a representative to serve a 2-year term. Terms are staggered, so new members are joining the DIC each year. The DIC meets 6 times during the school year. Agenda topics include the district improvement plan, budget, calendar, and other matters as they arise. I would like to have any members of the 2014-15 DIC to please stand at this time and be recognized. Okay. At this time, I will turn the presentation over to Ms. Georgianne Warnock.
Thank you, Mr. Bunn. Mr. Bunn described the overarching strategic plan. The district management team has aligned the district plan to the strategic plan. Campus plans then cascade from the district plan, and individual work plans flow from the campus plan. So this alignment creates workflow that is aligned to our strategic plan and district plan and unifies the organization around the district's strategies. And essentially, strategies are choices that we make as an organization to move towards the goal of high achievement. In our district plan, we outline 3 strategies or choices to improve Objective 1, continuously improve instructional practice. From each of those strategies, major tactical steps are outlined over a 3-year period to move the work forward. And each of those tactical steps has really fine-grained, detailed action plans that are in work at our campuses and at the district office. We improve instructional practice through continuous improvement of an aligned and differentiated curriculum. Action steps in 2014-15 to support this strategy include conducting peer reviews of curriculum units, studying the learning process of acquisition, meaning making, and transfer, which we have introduced to the board, but we won't ask you to sing tonight, and creating a system for assessment. In 2015-16, we will continue to revise curriculum based on our unit and state assessment data. We will refine our local assessment system that we have put in place this year and pilot student progress monitoring based on the results of that assessment system. In 2016-17, we will work to embed pre-assessment in COL and embed district-wide student progress monitoring and continue revision of COL. Our second strategy for improvement is to improve instructional rounds. This year, we conducted goal setting and review conferences with principals in the summer to think through each campus's problem of practice, and we established vertical networks. Previously, our rounds networks were comprised of all like schools. For example, we had an elementary network and a secondary network. By shifting to vertical networks comprised of elementary, middle, and high schools together, we have the capacity to build system improvement and make connections in our feeder patterns. In 2015 and 16 and into 17, we will continue to analyze data, particularly short-term targets, and continue learning with our rounds networks about acquisition, meaning making, and transfer. And we will also consider revising our round structure for continued improvement. Our third strategy is developing our instructional infrastructure of coaches, specialists, professional development, and professional learning communities. This year, we revised our coaching structure at elementary to improve service to our teachers, and we are providing coaches with professional learning regarding feedback and technology integration. New Hire Academy was revised this year, and we also added literacy coaches at high schools working one-on-one with students as a strong intervention strategy. In addition, we are preparing for our first ever summer learning conference in the summer of 2015. We will be studying leverage leadership, which is an idea of embedded coaching and professional development to learn about that framework and then pilot the concepts in 2015 and 16. We will continue these tactical actions through 2017. For each of the 4 guiding objectives, we've set a significant accomplishment to achieve by 2017. And for guiding objective 1, that significant accomplishment will be the top 5 of DPI, which is formerly known as API, in the Educational Resource Group, and that stands for the District Performance Index. ERG ranks the largest 200 school districts in Texas according to academic and productivity factors. ERG revised the District Performance Index in 2013 to be consistent with the revisions in state testing, and ERG now considers 7 measures listed here for you on the screen. Our performance star level 1, star level 2, star advanced, our graduation rate, college readiness factors, performance in SAT and ACT. In 2013, CFB was ranked in the 92nd percentile for DPI, meaning that the district outperforms 92% of the school districts in Texas when we control these factors with poverty. In addition, we will use state accountability system performance ratings and distinctions as measures. That state performance rating system continues to shift. We currently have 2 MET standard or needs improvement, and we are at MET standard. As we look at objective 2, continuously improve, yes?
Georgiana, the percent is purposes up top, correct? Not top 5%, it's top 5.
Top 5.
Correct,
Yes, sir.
number-wise, yeah, which would be
We want to be the 98%.
98th percentile. Okay.
When we look at objective 2, continuously improve the learning environment, we've listed major strategies for guiding our work. The first is it will improve processes and support systems to meet the physical and affective needs of students. Some examples, though not exhaustive, of action steps that we will complete to move this work forward include studying ways to increase physical activity. This year we are piloting brain breaks at 2 campuses and collecting data on the impact of the intervention. In 2014-15, we had professional learning with Dr. Tina Payne-Bryson regarding brain research, neuroplasticity, and how to effectively manage behavior. Some staff are also studying restorative discipline for a pilot in 2015-16, and through 2017, these tactical actions will continue development. In providing a learning environment, we also want to continue universal access to technology, as we know we must prepare students for a future in a rapidly changing digital age. Over the next 3 years, we are working to expand our lending library for home access, providing refurbished home computers through our Universal Access program, planning and implementing a strategic mobile device initiative, and continuing professional learning for teachers on how to integrate technology in meaningful ways to move learning forward. In maintaining a safe environment, we are piloting PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention and Supports, in this school year at several schools, and will expand this in future years. In addition, we continue to align the B. Salazar Transition School with the home campus practices in order to increase achievement. I'll now turn it over to Mr. Hyatt to share about the remainder of objectives 2 and 3.
Thank you, Ms. Warnock. Strategies under Objective 2 also address physical elements of the district. We believe that a safe, comfortable environment is necessary for high achievement. Action steps addressing safety and security include the replacement and upgrade of district video surveillance equipment on a 4 to 5 year cycle. While video surveillance does not guarantee campus safety, it does act as the deterrent and provides an additional tool for student discipline. Action steps addressing district facilities include adding classroom space at schools in the western part of the district to accommodate enrollment growth in that area. Future steps will include renovations and improvements at older district buildings.
For Objective 2, the significant accomplishment that we wish to achieve related to the affective environment is increasing our attendance rate to 98%. We know that if students are present in school, we've created a learning environment that is welcoming and inviting. We currently have a 95.6% attendance rate.
Related to that attendance rate, we believe if the students can't get in the building, they can't be present. So one of our operations goals is that we will not have this major systems failure of a building that results in the loss of school time. We also will monitor staff attendance and gather subjective feedback from staff about their physical environment through the Texas Association of School Boards Annual Employee Survey. Objective 3 is to continuously improve operational effectiveness. Strategies under this objective deal primarily with the efficient use of district resources, both financial and human. One strategy under this objective is to improve the hiring and retention of highly qualified personnel. Action steps to support this strategy include improvement of our staffing protocols and the review and update of employee stipends. A critical strategy addressing this objective is to maintain an effective and stable resource allocation process. With state funding being historically unstable, it is even more important that we address this issue locally. The first action step to support this strategy is the development and communication of initial information and plans related to the necessity of a future local tax election. Other strategies under this objective deal with improving business practices and technology infrastructure. Action steps supporting these strategies include debt restructuring and implementation of future technology upgrades. Significant accomplishments that have been established for this objective address financial stability and efficiency. A balanced budget with adequate reserves allow for a long-term view of program development. Remaining the top 97% for productivity as defined by ERG indicates the district is performing at a relatively high academic level at the lowest relative cost per student. This accomplishment essentially indicates that based on this measure, CFB will be functioning in the top 3% of the state's 200 largest school districts with regard to educational value. Now I'll turn it over to Ms. Shelley to address Objective 4.
In our district plan, we outlined 3 strategies to improve Objective 4 continuously improves community support. From each strategy, major tactical steps are outlined for a 3-year period to move our work forward. We will improve community support through continuous improvement of customer service, through clear and quality communication, and through engaging our communities with our schools. Action steps in 2014-15 include supporting customer service, include developing and implementing a plan to provide ongoing feedback for campuses on customer service, both internal and external customers, and also include training in response to the needs that are addressed. Action steps to support improving two-way communication include developing a communications plan to keep realtors informed about district information, accolades, and key initiatives. Continuing to train community and staff ambassadors as advocates for our school district, and developing specific messaging for target audiences in our school district. Action steps to help support improving community engagement include developing and implementing a plan to encourage active engagement from our faith-based organizations on our campuses, developing and implementing a coordinated effort to engage the community in support of the needs of our district and its students, and coordinating a plan to engage corporations and local corporate leaders and CEOs in support of our school district. The local accountability rubric accumulates data from various sources, including surveys, which helps to measure engagement and total reach in our school district. This rubric is assessed by our ambassadors. It is a measure of how they feel that we are engaging our community. We feel that reaching and maintaining an exemplary rating on this rubric in the areas of community and parental engagement is an important measure for Objective 4 community support. Dr. Burns, I now turn the presentation over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Shelley. You know, we've talked about this before, that, you know, a strategy is effective in helping employees make the right decisions and provide the guidelines for them. But, you know, the plan is only as good as the people. And what I have to say is the asset of this school district is the people, okay? We got great people, outstanding people working this plan. But without the people, the plan is just words on a paper. We are fortunate and blessed to have such quality people. We saw VIPs earlier, but our staff is the most dedicated and most caring and give more effort than the staff that I've ever been around associated with. So they'll work the plan, I can promise you that. So board members, we would entertain any questions.
Board members, questions at this time?
I got one.
Yes, sir.
Mark, is the number of additional state funds for each percentage point that we raise attendance, is it still around $1.5 million extra dollars for each percentage point we bring in?
Mr.
Or
Matthews,
raise.
that number sounds right. I hesitate to give you an absolute. Tanya, do you know off the top of your head? But your general comment, your context, your point is, the only way we get additional money from the state is for additional students to come into to our district. And in recent years, we haven't had many new students.
But the number was, it has been $1.5 million, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Burns. I think that's correct.
That does sound close, yeah.
I mean, it could be more by now, but, so that means if we're at 95.6 and we raise it to 98, that's pushing $4 million extra dollars.
I see your point. To increase our percentage of attendance increases our funding.
Yeah, that's-
For-
yeah,
for-
that
For
was
us to
mine.
keep kids in classroom generates money, yes, sir.
But about $4 million worth if we get to 98%.
Yes, sir.
Get there, yes.
Right.
And it's a win-win, because it's not only the revenue, it's that they're learning when they're here. So
Right.
it is
Exactly.
certainly, while we put that emphasis on that second objective, we want the environment to be so warm and welcoming. We want them to come to school. Certainly the economics plays a lot in it, but coming to school is the best way to learn. We believe that, so.
Board members, other questions? If I may, when we started discussing our 4 objectives, they broke down to approximately, I'm going to say, maybe 15 major strategies. However, I heard probably mentioned probably at least 100 minor strategies. My question is, how do we get a handle on ensuring that we're adequately monitoring all of those strategies so we have some comfort factor that we are achieving our goal?
Well, I'll address it from the biggest kind of strategic end, and that is, we say trust and verify. We believe we got the best campus principals around that there are in this state, and that they're dedicated to that. They hire the right people that are dedicated to it. But also, we have lots of checks and balances in the system with our support from educational services, to monitoring the curriculum and how we're doing it. That's why we do benchmarks. I know people don't like testing, but that's the way you can verify that what you're doing and your plan is working, because you have some assessments and you have some benchmarking, and we feel like that's necessary. Appropriate amount. You don't want to overdo it, but you need to have enough to make sure that's happening. So that's the kind of the strategic way to look at it. Ms. Warnock may have some more tactical pieces to that go all the way down to the campus, but we believe our campus principals are on it.
Yeah, I would just echo what Dr. Burns said and know that we're monitoring all different types of data as a dashboard. So we have a quarterly data review with our Ed Services team, and we have weekly contact with principals out walking campuses, talking to teachers and principals about what's working and what isn't, and that face-to-face time around their plans and around the district plan also helps us to ensure that we're moving forward.
Okay, but now to what really we as a board look at, and that is a budget. There is a cost associated to be able to understand, implement, and then take the data, reduce it back down to see if we've met all of our strategies. Is there some way we can get a handle on our cost of monitoring all of these strategies to see how we need to prioritize our funding? Because we can go down a rabbit's trail here and get nothing for all the effort and money that's expended. And I'm trying to get a handle from being responsible for the funding.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Good, you pose a great question that we've been asking in education probably for at least the last 36 years I've been in it. And, how do you have some cause and effect of what you do and a dollar return exactly? And that's hard to quantify. Mr. Hyatt and Ms. Tillman have been, they're two of the best at probably where we spend our money and where it goes. Determining what has the best return is somewhat subjective, but we can put some quantitative measures to it. We are studying a book by John Hattie about visible learning, and he talks about effect size. It's all good. Some of it just has a better effect than others. That's what these people over in education services try to determine, what's giving us that best return on effect size. But it's hard to say this one program makes all the difference, because it's the combination of those programs. It's the elements that we do and lots of things working together. It's hard to kind of just separate that. There's a great quote in his book he talks about, is that there is no causation in education, it's all correlation. So we find lots of things that help correlate to achievement, but there is no direct cause and effect to do that. What we try to do is try to prioritize and fund those things that are going to get the biggest return and biggest effect size. And so, you know, if everybody had figured that out, then I think school districts wouldn't be facing kind of what we face now.
Yeah.
But I also believe, and I think the district believes, is that, you know, to do nothing is not a good strategy either. I mean, you got to be trying some things, you know. If you want to avoid criticism, don't do anything. We want to push the envelope. We want to push to capacity so that we can continue to get better, and then be willing to stop doing things that don't bring that return. And I think that's what you trust us to do, is to tell you what's not working,
Yeah.
so we can take it out.
Okay. Board members, any questions? If not, we're going to move on to agenda item 3B, which is report on School First, the financial integrity rating system of Texas, and the rating for the 2012-2013 fiscal year. Dr. Burns.
Mr. Good, members of the board, you've seen this before. It's not the first School First you've seen, but we are going to give you the latest on that. This is kind of, you know, after the fact. Everything's been done on the dollar side of this afterwards. But School First is good information. It's good for the public. It's good for us to review. And so I'm going to turn over to Mr. Hyatt for any comments. Or are you ready to go straight to?
Turn it
The-
straight
the
to Ms.
brains.
Tillman. She is the brains.
Okay, all right. Ms. Tillman, you're up.
Thank you. So each year, Texas Education Agency issues a rating to each school district in the state of Texas, referred to as the first rating, the Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. The goal of the system originally was to provide uniform indicators to measure a district's financial management performance and ultimately improve the management of the school district's financial resources. The reporting requirements include that the district must distribute an annual financial report held at a public meeting and to provide opportunity for the public to comment on the report. And we do have the report here this evening available for anybody that attends the meeting that would like a copy. In addition to the reporting requirements, we're required to publish in a newspaper 2 weeks in a row information that we've received our rating and that we're going to be having the hearing. The district is rated using 20 indicators that are divided into 5 categories. The results of these 20 indicators produce a rating between superior achievement, above standard, standard achievement, and substandard achievement. There's a 2-part test to the rating. There's indicators that are referred to as critical indicators, and if you answer no to any one of the first 4 critical indicators, or no to both indicator 5 and 6, then you automatically receive a substandard rating without looking at the other indicators. Indicators 7 through 20 each receive 5 points. The district did receive the superior achievement rating, the highest rating, in 12-13 and 11-12. Statewide, 88.98% of districts received the superior achievement for this reporting period. The district has received the highest rating since the program began 12 years ago. This is the list of the 6 critical indicators that I mentioned, and of course the district answered yes to all 6 of the critical indicators. Fiscal responsibility and data quality. You can see there's 5 indicators in this category, and the district received the maximum 5 points available for each one of these indicators. The next category is budgeting. There's 3 indicators in this category. The district received the maximum of 5 points in these indicators as well. Personnel has 3 indicators. We were within range on these indicators, and so we received the maximum 5 points. And finally, cash management is the last group. There's 3 indicators here, and once again, we received the maximum of 5 points on these indicators. In addition to the rating that we receive, the district is required to report on 6 disclosure items. Out of these 6, we'll be including within the report 3 of the items, and then the other 3 items, we have nothing to report because we didn't have any items in these categories. We're required to report the superintendent and board reimbursements, and keep in mind this is for the 12-13 fiscal year. This does not include catered board meetings. Texas Education Agency also requires each school district to report financial solvency indicators, and then we're required to include those in with the first report as well. The district was in range with all of the financial indicators, with nothing causing any concern in these areas. So with the information that we've provided you in this brief presentation, we have met all of the reporting requirements for FIRST. We have management report available for viewing this evening. And the only step that remains is to hold a public hearing, which is an additional agenda item this evening.
Board members, before we go to the public hearing, do you have any questions at this time? Hearing none, seeing none, at this time, we will go into a public hearing. Anyone who would like to address the board regarding School First may do so at this time, and time is 8:10 p.m. Is there anyone who would like to address this matter at this time? Hearing none, seeing none, this public hearing is closed at 8:11 p.m. Thank you very much. With that, we will move on at this time to agenda item 4, which is board operations. The first item is audience for guests. As previously stated, audience guests is a mechanism whereby the board collects information from our community. As stated previously, if anyone would like to address the board, you may do so by filling out the form by the double doors as you walk in. Ms. Scrivener, do we have any audience for guests?
No, sir, we do not.
Very good. With that being said, we will move on to agenda item 4B, which is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is a mechanism that we use to approve a number of routine items together with a single vote, which is, of course, in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. The board, of course, has been provided ample information about these topics in advance. Prior to any action taken on the consent agenda, board members may request withdrawal of individual items for clarification or discussion. Board members, at this time, are there any items to be removed for discussion? Yes, sir.
4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's 4B and items 3 through 8.
3 through 8. Board members, are there any other items? Hearing none, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception, with the removal of items 3 through 8? Ms. Klein.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the removal of items 3 through 8.
I have a motion. Mr. Matthews, I have a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. That is unanimous. Now let us go back to agenda item 3, or should I say 3 through 8? I'm not too sure how these should be
Mr. Good, we
addressed.
would like to address them as an entity. I have the privilege of serving with Mr. Fleming and with Mr. Shore, but he's, with his illness, you have been serving in an interim capacity on our audit committee, and we've been looking at these issues, and I'd like Mr. Hyatt to give us a brief summary of them so the board is aware and anyone that's in the audience or viewing this will be aware, and then we'll deal with the 3 resolutions that the audit committee wants to make to the board.
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Shackman, Mr. Good. Item 3 on your agenda is actually the first monthly financial statement that we have for this year, which is loosely related to the investment topics that follow. But the first monthly financial statement, it goes back to your question earlier, Mr. Good, about how do we monitor as we go on and how the budget is reflecting our process. And truly, this is just a monthly process to determine, are we spending in accordance with the original plan? And then ultimately, do our results reflect positive steps after we implement those plans? Items 4 through 8 relate to the investment practices of the district, controlled and monitored by the state under the Public Funds Investment Act. What Mr. Shackman was related to is we met earlier tonight, and we have met previously to talk about the investment strategies and approaches of the district, and then to monitor the actual investment activities of the district. Agenda item number 4 is the annual investment report of the district. It's a cumulative report that reflects all of the historical activity and results of the investment activities of the district compared to certain benchmarks as identified by the industry and selected benchmarks within the district. Those benchmarks indicate that albeit we're in a period of extraordinary low interest rates and difficult to achieve very much yield, what the district is achieving using a very safe strategy is still a comparatively competitive yield. Yes, sir.
Mr. Lang, with the investment strategy, isn't it true that the investments that we as a school district can make are extremely limited?
Yes, sir.
We can't buy Google stock if we wanted to.
Yes, sir, that's correct. Under the Public Funds Investment Act of Texas, Mr. Franks, who primarily manages our investments in the district, uses the illustration of a large pie with one small lock area in the whole universe of investments. What the average investor can invest in, what school districts are allowed to under law to invest in is a relatively small portion. And not only is what we're allowed to invest in a small portion, this district takes the primary emphasis of our investment strategy to be the safety of the public's money. So we only invest in the safest of securities, primarily U.S. government securities and CDs and government investment pools. So item number 4 is a summary of the results of that operation for the year. Item number 5 is the first of our quarterly reports. It shows the actual transaction activity for the quarter and the results of that operations. And the purpose of these 2 reports is to provide to the school board a window into what we are doing as staff. While you don't manage the investments for the school district, you do have an opportunity to view every single transaction, every single investment that the district makes to ensure that we're only following your directions to maintain a safe and secure environment to achieve a reasonable yield in the environment. Item number 6 on your agenda, also required by the Public Funds Investment Act, is a resolution that we're asking you to adopt that authorizes certain investment broker-dealers. While I wouldn't criticize any of my peers, there have been school districts that have utilized the services of less well-known or less structured investment groups or investment brokers. What we do is present to you any investment broker-dealer that we intend to do business with, and so you have the opportunity to know who those people are, what their skill sets and their public perception of that company is, and we only do business with the highest reputable companies. Item 7 on your agenda is resolution adopting independent sources of instruction related to investment policy. Investment officers of the school district are required to achieve instruction in investment practices annually, and you have to authorize who those sources of instruction can be provided by. Again, we only select institutions of higher learning and institutions that provide high-quality services in this area. And lastly on your list is approval of a resolution adopting and reviewing the investment policy. You've had in your agenda package the investment policy of the district. As we reported to the audit committee, we have not made any changes in our investment policy since last year, so the review is relatively simple. If you thought it was a good policy last year and nothing's changed in the market and the industry, then it should remain a good policy this year. So all of those items relate to the requirements under the law, and we're presenting those to you tonight for your consideration.
Very good. Board members, you've heard the presentation on agenda items 3 through 8. Audit committee, do I have a motion
Mr. Good, on behalf of the Audit Committee, I would like to move that we accept the reports as presented and that we approve as written the 3 resolutions, 1 authorizing brokers, 2 authorizing the sources of instruction, and 3 renewing the investment policy.
Very good. Coming from Audit Committee, that does not require a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. That is unanimous. Thank you very much. With that, we'll move on to agenda item 5, which is comments from board members. Board members, any comments? I'll just make one. I believe there is a football game this evening. That being said, being no comments, we'll move on to agenda. Yes, sir.
Not only is there one this evening, there is a big one tomorrow evening for the district championship in District 11 5A
And
between
that's what?
Creekview and Smith. Just saying.
Location and time, sir.
That'll be at Standard Stadium at 7:30 tomorrow night.
We are. We're confident.
We have 3 of our 4 football teams that have qualified for the state playoffs, and 3 of our 4 volleyball teams also qualified for the state playoffs. That's very good.
Any other comments from board members? Seeing none, agenda item 6 is closed meeting. Dr. Burns, before I read this, are there any, is there a need for closed meeting?
No, sir, no items for closed session tonight.
Very good. Then I will forego reading that. Being that we have moved on, there's only one agenda item left, agenda item 8, and that's adjournment. And by my determination, we have concluded our board meeting at
At 8:20.
8:20 p.m.